Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going deep on a fascinating topic, how ideas actually create wealth.
Yeah, we're going to be diving into some really cool examples from different fields, trying to really grasp how this whole thing works, how human thought generates value, and not just in the typical ways we think about wealth.
Exactly. We often think of wealth as like physical stuff,
Uh-huh.
houses, cars, all that. But the sources we've got for this deep dive point to something way more interesting.
Right. They really emphasize that the most lasting forms of wealth come from ideas. It's like this philosophical thing almost. Our ability to come up with stuff, to innovate, that's what really drives true, lasting wealth.
So it's more than just what you can touch and see. It's about the potential, the creation itself. That's where the real value lies. And one of the coolest places to see this in action, and the sources talk about this a lot, is the world of art and literature.
Yeah, like you think about Van Gogh, Picasso, Da Vinci. They turned paint and canvas into priceless masterpieces.
But their impact goes way beyond just money, right?
Totally. I mean, these guys weren't just slapping paint around. They were coming up with completely new ways to see and capture the world. Their techniques, their styles, they've influenced art for centuries.
Their ideas, their vision, that's what gives their work that lasting value.
Mm.
Speaking of ideas with staying power, you can't talk about this stuff without mentioning Shakespeare.
Oh, for sure. Hundreds of years later, we're still watching his plays, reading his sonnets. The guy is a cash cow even from beyond the grave. And the thing is, it's all based on his ideas, on the stories he told.
It's insane. And on that note, think about J.K. Rowling and Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
It started as a simple idea, and boom, global phenomenon.
Right. Books, movies, theme parks, the whole shebang. It proves how powerful a really good story can be. And it's not just about the entertainment value. This stuff translates into serious money.
And it's all built on intellectual property, right? These creations of the mind, the characters, the world, that's what makes it so valuable. And this whole idea of creativity as wealth plays out in other areas too. Like in the sources, we've got tons of examples from movies and music. Take the Marvel Cinematic Universe, for instance.
Oh yeah, talk about a money-making machine. They took comic book characters and blew them up into this massive multimedia empire.
What I find fascinating about the MCU is how they took those original comic book ideas and wove them into this giant interconnected story. It's not just about the individual heroes, it's about the whole universe.
Absolutely. It's like they tapped into this collective imagination, and the fans, we eat it up. Movies, TV shows, merchandise. It's a gold mine.
Yeah.
And, the sources also highlight how music legends like the Beatles and Michael Jackson, they didn't just make a ton of money. They basically reshaped the music industry.
Their impacts was huge, from fashion to culture, even how the business side of music works.
Their music, their style, their whole image, it was revolutionary. They broke the mold. And it made them incredibly wealthy and influential.
And this brings us to another crucial aspect that the sources dig into: design and invention. These are all about taking ideas and making them practical, turning them into things that change the world.
Yeah. Think about basic stuff like the wheel, the printing press, the steam engine, and the internet. These inventions started as ideas, and then boom, they revolutionized everything.
They changed how we live, how we work, how we communicate. These aren't just gadgets, they're like fundamental shifts in how we do things.
Exactly. They represent these huge leaps in human capability. And of course, they generated tons of wealth along the way. And the sources also highlight more recent examples like Apple and Tesla.
Right. Steve Jobs, he had this vision of creating technology that was intuitive and beautiful. It wasn't just about building a product, it was about changing the way we interact with technology.
Totally. And it made Apple one of the most valuable companies in the world. And then you've got Elon Musk and Tesla pushing the boundaries of electric vehicles and sustainable energy.
They're showing that innovation and thinking outside the box, that's where the real value is. And you see this in other fields too. The sources talk about architects like Zaha Hadid, who's pushing the limits of design.
Yeah, her buildings are incredible. They're not just functional, they're works of art. And in fashion, you've got brands like Chanel showing how a unique aesthetic can create a lasting legacy and a ton of money.
And that brings us to branding, which is another awesome example of how ideas can create wealth. Think about the Nike swoosh, the Coca-Cola logo, the name Google. These are more than just symbols.
Right. They represent entire concepts, emotions, lifestyles, and they're worth a fortune.
They've built these incredibly powerful associations in our minds. It's crazy how much value a simple logo can hold. And that's because they've managed to capture an idea, a feeling, and connect it to their brand.
It's all about crafting a narrative. an image, and it allows them to charge a premium, build loyalty. Branding is a masterclass in turning an idea into cold, hard cash.
And the sources don't stop there. They also bring in entrepreneurs like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and Warren Buffett. They argue that their success isn't just about money or resources, it's about their big ideas.
Yeah, it's about having a vision, understanding what people want, what the future holds. Bezos saw the potential of online retail. Musk is obsessed with sustainable energy and space travel. And Buffett has this long-term investment philosophy.
Their ideas are the foundation of their empires. It's not just about starting a business, it's about having a core concept that drives everything you do.
It's like they're selling us a piece of their vision, a way of thinking.
Yeah.
And that's incredibly powerful. And, as we've been talking about all these examples, it really hits home that this whole ideas create wealth thing, it's deeper than just money.
It changes how we view wealth itself, right?
Totally. It's not just about stuff you own. It's about the potential of the human mind. It's about creativity, innovation, and the ability to turn thoughts into reality.
It kind of democratizes the whole idea of wealth, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because in theory, anyone can have a great idea.
Exactly. You don't need a trust fund or fancy connections. The most powerful resource is right between your ears. And that's really empowering, I think. And looking ahead, the sources suggest that this is only going to become more true.
Yeah, with all the technological advancements happening right now, like AI, blockchain, the metaverse, it seems like ideas are going to be even more valuable in the future.
Oh, absolutely. We're seeing this already with things like NFTs, virtual real estate, and the whole data-driven economy. It's all about new ways of thinking, new ways of creating and exchanging value.
And those who can adapt to these new landscapes, who can come up with the big ideas, they're going to be the ones shaping the future.
The future is built on ideas. And those who can harness that power, they're the ones who will thrive.
So what have we learned from this deep dive? The main takeaway for me is that ideas are the true drivers of wealth. And that's true across so many fields, from art and music to technology and entrepreneurship.
It's really about recognizing the power of human creativity and how it shapes the world around us. We often focus on the material aspects of wealth, but the sources remind us that it all starts with an idea.
And that's a pretty exciting thought. It means that we all have the potential to create something amazing, something valuable.
And the sources leave us with a really thought-provoking question.
Yeah, they ask, what's your next great idea? Because it could be the key to unlocking untold wealth. And that wealth might not just be financial, it could be cultural, societal, or even personal. So keep those creative juices flowing, folks. You never know what amazing things you might come up with.
That's something to think about.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.